Small production batches have ton of advantages. It's very sustainable. It gives you a lot of flexibility. It allows you to not take too big of a risk. It lets you test the market on a small scale. Like I said, many advantages. However, it has one big disadvantage, and it's the cost. So unless you're able to create a business model that allows you to be profitable with making small batches, it becomes a challenge for a small brand to create small batches at the beginning. And one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is really out of frustrations from designers who say, I can't commit to hundreds of units. I can't commit to thousands of units. But making these small batches is super expensive. Why is it so expensive? Let me answer that question. When a factory goes into production, when they go into producing a style, there are certain number of steps, certain amount of time, certain number of people, workers that are going to be involved in setting up that production. And that will be the same whether they produce 15 pieces, 150 pieces, or 1,500 pieces. So what ends up happening is that the amount of time and money that is spent on setting up your production will then be divided by the number of units that you are going to produce. So for example, if I would estimate that my cost to set up your style is, for the sake of example, will be $300. If you're only producing 15 styles, now 15 pieces, sorry, now every one of these pieces is gonna carry a cost of $20. If you're producing 150 pieces, then these $300 divided by 150 pieces, it's only $2 per item. And if I'm making 1,500, now the cost per item is only 20 cents. Does that make sense? Do you understand the scalability of things and what really happens when production volume goes up? So that's one thing. The other part has to do with efficiency. So when a factory starts to sow production, it takes them some time until all the sewers and everyone is involved in making your product, finding the best way, the most efficient way to do things. When they only produce 15 pieces, by the time that they are finished with these 15 pieces, only by then they figured out how to be more efficient, but there's no production. So they had to go slower. When I'm making 1,500 or even 150 pieces, I can get more efficient in the first few hours of production, in the first few items of production. So then the majority of my production is more efficient. I can do things quicker. Everybody knows how to do things better. And from a factory perspective, my cost dropped down. So again, when you think about small production compared to big production, these are the things that make the difference. Now, should you do small production regardless? My recommendation is if you're a small brand, if you're just starting out, even if it's much more expensive than what you wanted to pay, I would still recommend doing small production. Finding a spot where it's economically okay, you can make some money, you're not losing money, but you're also not committed to a lot of quantities, just so you can test the market, get feedback, find out what works and what doesn't, and then know in the back of your mind that as soon as things starting to work out in your business and you're starting to get more sales and the feedback is good, your quantities will go up, your production costs can be better, and you can get to the point where the economics of all of this works for you.